This goddess, Sekhmet, is an ancient Egyptian goddess whose name means she is powerful. She's also known as the one who was before the gods were. She's depicted as a lion-headed woman, and on her head is a sun disk. She focuses the intense power of the sun. She's a solar deity, and she is the daughter of Ra, and she was known to have come from his eye. Sekhmet is also known as the destroyer and the mother goddess. So she embodies this quality of the goddess that is common, one who creates and heals, and one who also destroys all that is not in integrity. She's typically depicted as sitting on a throne, and she's known as both the Lady of Terror and the Lady of Life. And in this way, Sekhmet really encourages us to be courageous in the face of darkness. Sekhmet doesn't see things that are out of integrity and shrink back. She stands up in the light. That is what she is destroying. That is why she is known as the Lady of Terror. Not because she is bringing terror to people who are serving in the light, but that she is bringing terror to those who are out of integrity. She is a balancing force of the universe. Her spirit lives in the eye of Ra. She emanated from the eye of the sun, which was known to be a separate being all to itself. The eye of Ra, also known as the eye of Re, is a being in ancient Egyptian mythology that functions as a feminine counterpart to the sun god Ra. So his eye is actually a separate being and a violent force that subdues his enemies. The eye is an extension of Ra's power, equated with the disk of the sun, but it often behaves as an independent goddess. The Eye of Ra took the form of many female deities, Sekhmet being one of the first. It is the female force that forms the creation myth of all of Egypt. The Eye of Horus is a reflection of the Eye of Ra, and here you see the Eye of Horus and the Eye of Ra together in the bottom image here. The Eye of Horus is a symbol representing protection, health, and restoration. According to the Egyptian myth, Horus lost his eye. His eye was magically restored, and this restoration came to symbolize healing, the process of making whole. So all gods and goddesses that are associated with the Eye of Ra or the Eye of Horus symbolize the potential for healing, for the magical restoration of that which has been destroyed. Sekhmet is unique in her form, and she is also similar to all emanations of the Mother Goddess in the sense that she symbolizes both power, strength, and the complexity of the divine feminine. She owns the light, and she courageously faces the dark. To open to the light of Sekhmet is to own that divine presence within ourselves. If you think of the Eye of Ra, the Eye of Ra is also known as the son or the daughter of God. And if you think to Christianity, which emerged after this time period, we know the Son of God to be the Christ. And it is the Christ light that all healing flows through. In the same way, it is the light of Ra that all healing flows through. The Son of God as Ra and the Son of God as Christ are just different names for the same life force energy, for the same light that is flowing through all things. And so whether you relate to this idea of a light of Christ that is flowing through all, that is emanating body that is filling your cells, that is ultimately what is doing the healing, or you relate to the light of Ra, what this journey that we're moving through today is here to show you is that it emanates through the divine feminine, and it is within us. And when we open to it, we become fearless. We step into a courageousness in our healing work, and we step into our own divine power. These forms of Sekhmet were here to remind us that we have the same healing power that she had. As a matter of fact, the cults of Sekhmet, which were the origin of Sekhem, which is the hands-on healing method that predated Reiki, those cults were groups of Egyptian priests and priestesses who also honored the presence of Sekhmet within themselves as a doorway, as an opening, as a catalyst for their healing. Sekhmet, therefore, opens us to the warrior goddess within us. She opens us up to come into alignment with the divine healer that is within us, the goddess of healing that exists within the light, that exists within each of our cells. Notice the sun disk on the top of her head. Yet another reminder that her attention was on the light. She wasn't holding the sun disk in her hand. She wasn't standing on it. She was balancing it on her crown, which indicates a awareness, a attention to this higher light at all times. And so to open then to the light of Sekhmet is to fully step into our healing power. It is to fully step into our ability to harness the light for healing with others. So as we enter into the light of Sekhmet, I'm going to read to you a story of Grandmother Sun. This is a story of a woman who called to Grandmother Sun during a circle ceremony and experienced a vision of Sekhmet. She explains this vision, and it helps us to step into the wide open space that Sekhmet creates for us. When we call upon the goddess, she does not come to us in the same way. She doesn't come to each of us in the same way. Instead, she comes to each of us in a very different way. And this journey is one that paints a picture of how the goddess can arrive within a sacred ceremony to guide us. The journey begins on a clear day, the desert dry and warm, and the horizon vast. I'm at the temple of Goddess Spirituality, dedicated to Sekhmet. I see a woman walking toward me from the desert. She is a queen, a mature and statuesque figure. Her walk is strong, and her gray-brown dreadlocks move like serpents. Her dress, natural linen with red sash. There is a hint of smile on her brown face. I know this is Sekhmet. She asks why I have called her. What is my question? I ask the one who's always perplexed me. Can you explain the meaning of your major myth? We've come to know you as a goddess of healing and nurturing power and self-worth. The myth of violence and revenge and rage feels hard to align with our experience of you. She looks me right in the eye. I feel uncertain. Have I asked too much? Is my understanding lacking? She leads me to sit in the temple to talk. And at that moment, the cicadas all begin to sing at once. She says, If you look at the sun long enough, you go blind. Everyone must make that underworld journey to become whole, to become the healer. Even Goddess must release her rage to find her freedom and her true beauty. That myth was my trip. You have to get lost to be found. I was always my father's daughter, the sun. I was called the eye of the sun. I became his instrument, for I knew nothing else. His wrath became my wrath, and I acted without heeding my own will. I became a laser eye. I was my father's daughter, and I was blind to myself. When this anger was appeased with sedatives, I saw what I had wrought. I was forced to face myself and my regret, face the fact that I had betrayed my real power and inner strength to obey another. I came back with a new power, a new love. I was the eye of the sun. I have now become the heart of the sun. At that moment, she crouches and transforms into a lioness. She reaches out with one huge claw and opens my chest. Her paws and hands reach into her own chest where a bright, warm light beams out. This light she puts into my heart. I know, the heart of the sun. I am filled with gratitude.